Tex. This is Tex Talks. Hope you all are having an awesome day today. Today's topic is going to be a discussion of trying to explain so that it will help understand someone who you may be friends with or related to who might have either BPD, borderline personality disorder, or some other personality disorder, or some other type of neurodivergent thing going on where a lot of times people will come to me and say, I don't understand why whoever it is, my husband, my wife, my whoever does what they do. And don't they just understand? And why can't they think like this? And there it is in a nutshell, is if you want to understand and be able to have a workable relationship with someone who thinks differently, and this even spills over into this just the average everyday life. People think differently. You have to be able to relax and put yourself in their mind frame. You don't have to agree, and you don't have to judge right or wrong if you just want to understand. And that's the basics of being able to communicate, to being able to get along. And so that's why it's important to be able to relax for a second and think that other people see things differently. In particular, in these cases, you will have an individual that feels they have been slighted or wronged. That's very complicated. Maybe they're seeing it this way, and there could be thousands of things going on, but I'm gonna give you a few examples. Maybe it's too much for their mind to really be okay with, and I guess, how would I say it, to take responsibility for the situation fully. And it is their responsibility to do that. Where I found other people will come in and try to make them do it, and that's where a lot of disasters happen. If you first, though, have to relax and realize they are thinking differently, and it's not that you're right or they're right, it's just that you see things from your point of view. They see their things from their point of view. And if they could step back, and sometimes even you could step back and go, what will achieve the goal we want? What will cause the least amount of suffering and the most amount of happiness? I mean, that's back to those basics of a lot of Eastern thought, a lot of just basic communication skills, training, is being able to figure out how both ends can get through the situation with the least amount of pain. Getting back into, thinking like the other person, I'll give you some examples that may help you. Like I said, they see maybe in their mind that they feel you've done them wrong. Now, the first thing that people want to argue is facts. And I think facts are great, and facts can be applied when you're both able to sit down and rationally work through things. I say that from your own point of view, being able to just look at facts, observe them, and being able to bring things together will help you make decisions and avoid certain situations. Where the problem occurs is, though, is the assumption that everyone agrees with the facts as far as these are the facts, they see the facts the same way. So minor misunderstandings get way out of proportion because the other person may think, well, you haven't reached out to try to contact me. You should have contacted me. I've had situations in my own life where I've had people where I tried to contact them, wasn't able to get a hold of them for whatever reason. And later on, the person would just assume I never tried, and they're hurt. And the way that they express that hurt is, well, then fine, you don't try to reach out to me. I'm not going to try to talk to you. You be that way. And they never take the time to actually get the information and find out what's going on. Then they build a whole castle on that foundation of you hurt me, I'm upset. They build towers of, keeping you out, being angry at you, using them to look at you and go, everything that you do, they see it in the light of, you obviously want to be mean to me, hurt me, or you don't like me. So therefore, every little action you take, I'm watching carefully. And in their mind, they feel they're thinking rational. And you're standing on the outside going, you're not rational. That way of arguing will get you nowhere. It's about being able to sit down and calmly go, okay, how do you feel? A lot of times, people in all situations might be able to express themselves and connect with you better if you take the time to just let them express how they feel. That doesn't mean letting them express it physically and hurt you. This means having a conversation and going, okay, what's going on? What are you thinking? And letting the other person talk for a minute. And then listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk, not just thinking up of things to argue and counterpoints to say. That's not listening. That's preparing to argue. And if you want to argue, then why are you even, trying to get through this video? Because in reality, people have flipped it into this I want to win situation, and that means you have to lose so that I can win. And you see how coming to the table with that has already put you in an adversarial position instead of one of like, how can I make this work? What can we do to get along with each other? So when you're working with someone who does these things quite often and they're backed up with anger, maybe even rage, quick mood swings, impulsivity, think about it. They feel something is wrong and it hurts them. They immediately react, and their reaction is meant to get the pain off of them. So they don't think it through. They don't think of the long-term goals of, oh, what do I really want out of this whole situation? They're just thinking immediately, get the pain off of me. So they will throw it at you. There will be anger. They will have that shift in moods from being okay to being extremely angry or extremely sad or extremely upset. And they want to get rid of that, and they want to get rid of it quick. So they lash out at you with anything they've got. And it doesn't have to be rational for them to feel they're justified. It is even possible that there's part of them that they're trying to cover over, part of themselves that they want to hide, feelings of guilt or doubt or fear. Think of it like when you have an animal that's hurt and you want to help it and you're there, you're there to help it. You're there to help bandage its leg. All it knows is it hurts and it lashes out towards anything that comes near it. It doesn't sit there and think, oh, I'm not going to bite you because you're trying to help me. No, the animal bites everyone. And we're just kind of like advanced forms of animals, if you will. We tend to have those same basic reactions in us. Sometimes we're able to overcome those and think those through. But again, flip it to someone now whose thinking is different, their wiring is different. So that they're trying to stop the pain, they're moving impulsively, they're not thinking through their actions. And then that thing that we all do as humans with our own mind is we try to wrap logic around it and justify what we've done. And if something happens, we want to say it happened for a reason, and we want that reason to be in our favor. So someone may have been lashed out at you thinking you haven't contacted them or you haven't done something you were supposed to do. And then no matter what you say, their mind is locked in that mode of protect itself. And in that mode, it will believe what it tells itself. And the only way for all of this to come down is to literally everyone to do that, to take a step back and calm down. And it may take a few minutes. It may take time longer than that. It may take work. It may take patience. There's a lot of things. You have to ask yourself, are the relationships worth it? And a lot of times people will say yes because I'm in love with this person, dating them, I'm married to them, I'm related to them, and they want to keep these family relationships. Then realize it's going to take work. And if you're going to get along with someone like that, you're going to have a lot of misunderstandings and you're going to have to be able to breathe and calmly get through it and then hopefully get them to talk, and then y'all together come to a better situation. There's a reason for doing that because, again, these people are very passionate that have these different ways of thinking. This is something that, in a way, at times for them, a strength, but oftentimes it can be more of a problem. And, this can be with anything. I always tell people your coping skills are your coping skills, but when used ad nauseum, they begin to hurt the people around them. When you use them over and over and over, that's everything that you do as a coping skill. Sometimes eating some comfort foods. Sometimes somebody will have a beer, smoke a cigarette. I'm not judging the overall picture, but what happens is something that may have been okay to do once, like have a beer, has now turned into a six-pack that turns into an everyday thing to deal with that problem. Somebody will turn to marijuana and say, oh, it relieves my anxiety. And then it gets used to relieve everything to the point of oblivion sometimes. And again, used over and over. And pretty soon you've spent all of your money and all your time in that habit. And that habit is not helping you. In the same way with anger, lashing out, trying to scream at people until they do what you want them to do. It may have worked, and now that coping skill just keeps getting used over and over again. So being able to put together, and I know it's a lot for people who, like I said, they'll say, why can't they just think like me? Well, nobody thinks like you, and you don't think like nobody else. So rack that one out. Why can't they just be like everyone else? If they were, you wouldn't be with them. Let's be for real. They would be boring. You obviously are attracted to something in these individuals that may be volatile. You need to ask yourself, where's that coming from? Or you may be one of the people who are volatile, and you need to ask yourself, where's that coming from? More often than not, most people in relationships with someone else who's having a hard time coping, probably themselves are having a hard time coping. Let me say that again. What attracted you to someone who's having difficulty coping? Are you playing rescuer? Are you attracted to the drama? Is it exciting? Why are you doing it? Are you getting on your knight, your little shining knighted up horse, got your little jousting stick and your shield up and you're ready to go in and save the person? Yay. Then ask yourself, what's that about? Think and reflect. Try to step back a step and first realize that for whatever reason the person's thinking the way they're thinking, they're doing it to protect themselves, validate themselves, to stop themselves from hurting, to protect themselves from those feelings they don't like. You do not have to agree with them. It really helps, though, if you understand that there is a reason they're doing it. It just may not be the reason that they say, or it may not be a reason you even agree with. And you may not agree with them at all. You can still work to understand, and it will put you in a better relationship. And then even if it doesn't work, you will know that you gave it a wholehearted effort instead of just throwing up your hands in frustration, saying, I'm not even going to try. I hope that helps some. If you have any questions, you need some follow-up, let me know. If you need me to go into depth in any one part of it, I'm more than glad to. I do realize a lot of the videos that I put out are to get you thinking. They're not as in-depth as some people would like. Well, here's the catch. Tell me you want more. Ask me to get specific, and I will do my best. Hope y'all have an awesome day.